This is what happened when Aaliyah don't want to screen Caitlin right here. Look at this. Caitlin lands on her knee with Odyssey Sims trailing and grabbing her. Now Caitlin's on the floor grabbing her knee. Thank you, Aaliyah. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. Look at this. AB didn't screen. So now Odyssey Sims is on top. This is what Draymond Green was trying to tell you, Waffle House. This is exactly what Draymond Green...
The transmission just informed the 15 million viewers at home that the other player lost her balance, and Caitlin Clark is on the ground once more holding her knee. She remained balanced. You can see exactly what happened by watching that replay if you have two working eyes. It wasn't an error. It wasn't a coincidence. That defender raced full speed at Clark's lower torso, curled up, and attempted to pull her legs out from under her. And music, the referee who was witnessing it all, determined that doing nothing at all was the best course of action.
They came after Caitlin tonight. She gets flat mugged right here.
Trying to adjust her.
Flat mugged. What are we doing? I mean, yikes! She couldn't get a foul call if her life depended on it. Not tonight, anyway. Not tonight. And then Odyssey Sims, I mean, for real, tackles Caitlin Clark. There's no confusion. She tackled her like it's the National Football League. And look, I like Odyssey Sims. She came through last year for the Fever. But that is...
This game pits the Dallas Wings against the Indiana Fever. By the end of the evening, Caitlin Clark had been knocked to the ground, shoved, grabbed, and held more times than anyone cared to record on the stat sheet. However, there are two specific instances that everyone can't stop discussing this morning. First, a play in which a defender goes low into Clark's legs in a manner unrelated to playing the ball, causing her to grab her knee in obvious anguish.
Clark and Beckers. And some intensity growing here as Clark taking it.
Second, late in the second quarter, Paige Becker is tightly gripping Clark's arm and won't let go, essentially challenging the officials to make a decision as the clock is running out. Two entirely distinct moments with the same outcome each time. When the whistle eventually emerged, the damage had already been done because it had been in the pocket far longer than it should have.
Aaliyah Boston is trash. She does not set screens. You got people tackling Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston, big, soft, sorry ass, don't do nothing. She's a big, soft, sorry piece of if you ask me out there. Aaliyah Boston is ass. $6 million of ass juice out there. She ain't did nothing. Got dominated by Jessica Shepard. Aaliyah Boston, get your sorry ass in the trash too. Go on, get your sorry ass in the trash. You suck. You the most overrated, overpaid big. For $6 million, you need to be playing like Asia.
The knee should receive more care than it does. So let's start there. A Wings defender closes the distance on Clark at a speed that shouldn't be that close to a standing player's legs while she is working off the ball and attempting to enter a passing channel. Clark falls instantly as the contact comes low, just around the knee. This wasn't a dramatic sell job, as seen by the twisted face and both hands on the joint. Unless something truly hurts, you don't grip your own knee in that manner. On a second or third viewing, the play appears even more purposeful since the defender falls a few steps later and flings her arms out as if she was taken aback by the entire situation.
Wilson electing to not screen. Look at this. Like, look at it. What type? You're screening Caitlin! Oh my gosh! She's screening Caitlin instead of Odyssey. Oh my gosh! How do you screen Caitlin? Oh my gosh! She's screening her own teammate instead of screening Odyssey Sims. How do you screen Caitlin? It got to the point where she's hurting Caitlin. She's the reason Caitlin probably fell. Let me watch this. Look at this. AB didn't screen. Odyssey Sims just literally fell into Caitlin Clark. How do you screen Caitlin? Oh my God.
The issue with referring to that as a loss of balance is as follows. The defender isn't responding to Clark's movement if you observe the footwork prior to impact. She's getting closer to it. In the same manner as a defensive back attempts to cut down a running back before he can plant and cut, she squares up, lowers her hip angle, and drives straight into Clark's standing leg. That's not a coincidence. That isn't just a player not stopping in time. The purpose of the body position is to subdue Clark by getting beneath her. Additionally, the fact that the broadcast crew referred to it as losing her balance in real time illustrates how easily people are willing to justify contact on this specific athlete rather than simply calling it what it is. There are a dozen methods for a defender to just contest the passing channel without ever coming close to the knee. This was not one of those methods.
Bro, how much is too much when you're guarding Caitlin Clark? First, Paige grabs her arm, the whistle comes late, Clark gets pissed, and Paige basically tells her, calm down. Then later, Odyssey Sims takes Clark down and she lands knee first on the floor. Nah man, Dallas was physical all night. Indiana loses 91-85 and Clark walks out frustrated. Call it tough defense if you want, but if this is normal, what the hell actually counts?
This is the bit that should really infuriate folks. Not only the play itself, but the events that followed. No whistle, no tardiness, no delay, just nothing. Clark is on the ground, clutching her knee. The referees, who are within 10 feet of the action, act as though they have witnessed an entirely separate possession when the trainer ultimately jogs out to see how she is doing. Lying on the hardwood in obvious pain, this two-time MVP is the main reason a sizable portion of that arena purchased tickets in the first place. The 3 people paid to officiate that particular situation have responded with quiet. No flagrant review, no free throws, and not even a common foul to acknowledge any contact at all. The only indication that something went wrong is when Clark hobbles through the next few possessions. Otherwise, the game simply begins as if nothing had happened.
There's a moving screen. She's moving all over the place. Hits her with the shoulder, like always. Look at this. Fouls her, holding her, and fouls the crap out of her. No foul. Look at this. She got fouled the whole game. They didn't call this a foul. Look at this one. Like, her body's all over her. How is that not a foul? Look at this one. Cardosa swipes her once, twice, just tries to grab her. Can you imagine being fouled the entire game? Every time you hit half court, every time you dribble, every time you drive. Look at this. Sheldon clearly has her hand on Caitlin Clark's shoulder when she's shooting it. They even showed a replay. It's exactly
when Clark is the one making contact, whistles come out much more swiftly. An offensive foul is called almost immediately after Clark barely knocks into a defender setting up a screen earlier in this matchup between these two teams. Music. Don't hesitate, don't debate, and don't wait to see if the play has any real impact. Fans consistently point out this discrepancy in game after game. It's a foul before Clark completes the action if she makes even the slightest contact. The whistle either doesn't arrive at all or requires a lengthy evaluation of the circumstances when something far more physical occurs to her. Depending on which jersey is pushing, the same 3 referees overseeing the same 40 minutes of basketball nevertheless apply 2 completely different criteria.
Herself got called a technical foul because she accidentally ran into a ref. And as you will see from the clip, it was not intentional in the least. Her reaction to getting the whistle is just like all of us. It was so utterly unfair. Watch this.
So clearly was a foul, was not called.
Oh, she didn't even say anything.
Oh my God.
I mean, just insane. And they were going to actually kick her out, and then they finally reversed that ruling. But like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
how
it's
the refs are acting.
It's an absolute.
This particular design has also appeared before. A few weeks ago, Clark was just following through on a play, a body in motion with nowhere else to go, when she made contact with an official, earning her a technical foul. In the meantime, other players in the league have made comparable or more aggressive contact with officials during live action and have simply shrugged. It was immediately recognized by fans, and it immediately contributed to the ongoing dispute that has been developing throughout the season. No one in the league office has ever provided a convincing explanation for why the standards for what constitutes a foul against Clark and what constitutes a foul on her appear to be 2 whole distinct rulebooks.
Now, what was that? Paige having the audacity to push Caitlin Clark, then putting her hand out and telling Caitlin Clark to calm down.
Some intensity growing here as Clark taking exception to the bumps. You see Beckers grabbing the arm of Clark and Clark flailing the arm.
This is just another example of how girls are getting smoked by Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. The numbers do not lie all across the board. Caitlin is not having her best night tonight, but we still have another half to go. And I will be the first to admit that I think Paige is a baller. The way that she can see the whole court, the way that she can pull up from anywhere on the court. But this was so shicey. There's always been rumors that Paige was kind of jealous of Caitlin Clark, and she admitted it herself that she was jealous for what's happening with Caitlin Clark. She said that in an interview recently, but I feel like you did not need to put your arm out like that. That is so salty. Both players are built for big moments, but that did not need to happen on the court tonight.
Let's go on to the second occasion, which will be the topic of discussion tomorrow. With less than 10 seconds remaining in the second quarter, Paige Becker moves in to use Clark's ball after the Wings commit a foul. However, giving a foul does not entail seizing someone's entire arm and holding on tight as the clock is running out. Becker grabs Clark's left arm and hangs on while she tries to shake off, obviously annoyed that she's being detained rather than being fouled and let go. When the referee eventually blows the whistle after a few full seconds, Clark has already blasted the ball down the court out of rage, sending it hurtling perilously close to Becker's as she heads toward the tunnel.
Paige grabbing her, no foul called, grabs her again. Caitlin Clark said, yeah, dude, I mean, she's touched me enough times right now. I mean, she's got her hands on me a little bit too much right now. Here we go. We have Paige grabbing Caitlin Clark, literally grabbing her arm, and we're not calling a foul. I don't understand what that is. This is one of the times where Caitlin Clark got mauled. Look at this. Grabbing her arm. Like Caitlin Clark's trying to run away, and Paige Becker's just reaching out saying, no, come here. I want to go this way. Like they're both going shopping at the store. And Caitlin Clark's like, no, I'm not going in that store. And Paige's like, no, come in the store. Yeah. It was wild. Absolutely wild. Goes and grabs Caitlin Clark again. And then foul. I mean, that second time looked like she was just trying to foul at that point. That looked like an intentional.
Watch it again and focus on the hold's real mechanics rather than just the result. Giving a foul is meant to happen quickly. A whistle, a rap, and a bump, done. This is not a fast process. Buchers persists long after any authority need to require additional facts before making the decision. She's not attempting to block a pass or a shot. In essence, the 10-second mark has already passed. Forever everyone waits for a whistle that takes a forever to arrive. She is simply physically blocking Clark from doing anything with her body. Cameras captured Buchers mouthing something to Clark during that hold, which has been widely interpreted online as a way of asking her to calm down. Clark is being detained against her will at this same moment. It's not subtle when you slow it down frame by frame. Her mouth moves. While Clark is still vigorously attempting to free her arm, her expression is composed, almost contemptuous.
The Caitlin thing I think is interesting because I believe them to be friends. They've said it before, or at least friendly. But they're good, they compete against each other. They're competitors. When you're on the court, it's different. Paige is clearly trying to take a foul here so that Clark doesn't get like some shot off. But she grabs her arm. She's clearly trying to take it. It doesn't get called. And then at this point, she's just mad. I don't think Caitlin has anything. She's not mad at Paige. She's mad at the ref for not calling the obvious. She grabbed my arm. Paige says, calm down. But listen, you yanked my arm. They didn't call it. Call the foul. And then she's still like, at that point, she's like, listen, she's mugging me at this point. You got to call the foul. This is going to end up being something.
When you slow down and truly sit with it, consider how bizarre that is. It's Becker's who is hanging on. Becker's is the one who keeps in touch far longer than is necessary. However, the message being conveyed at that precise moment is aimed at Clark, the player who is being restrained, as though she is the one who must calm down and act appropriately. Clark has been trapped in the same loop throughout the entire season. When she is struck, restrained, or fouled severely, her response, no matter how slight, becomes the focus of the narrative rather than the initial cause. The referee contact earlier in the season, the knee collision a few minutes into the same broadcast, and the grabbed arm near the end of the first half are all examples of this.
NBA refs are some of the worst. They're the worst refs of refdom of any of the refs that exist. They are so continuously, perpetually, just terrible across the board. All of them. I don't give a.
Let's expose last night's game. Like, this was called a foul. After reviewing it, one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. Look at this one. Instead of looking at her getting hit in the face, Caitlin Clark gets hit in the face. They look at a leg slightly moving a screen. Like, this is what Caitlin Clark deals with. Those are reach and fouls, arms across her whole body. She's getting hit twice, once in the throat, no foul called. So she could get hit, she could get assaulted, but they only call fouls if it's on her for not.
Given the length of time it took to make that call, the referees were obviously aware that they had an issue. By design, a foul is meant to be evaluated almost immediately so that both benches can see the clock position. Rather, this one lasts long enough that by the time the whistle actually confirms what everyone in the building had already deduced 3 seconds earlier, Clark has already responded, the ball has already been thrown, and both teams are already making their way to their locker rooms. It's poor officiating. In the third quarter, Becker received a technical foul for arguing with an official after a different call went against her on a foul involving Clark. At best, the officials were asleep on a crucial play. Therefore, the crew lost control of the physicality and pace, and Clark had to endure the worst of it before anyone in stripes made the decision to control it. It's not a subtle indication when, by the middle of the third quarter, both benches, both coaching staffs, and the entire crowd are clearly irritated with the same 3 officials. That team lost the plot early and never really recovered it.
Yeah, she intentionally seeked out the official.
Did that you backwards to them? Did you know they were there in that moment?
And through the forearm. That too.
Did you know they were there?
No. It's really bad.
A different explanation of anything?
No, that's
Gave
what I
us
was
the
told.
same
That's what I was told. Yeah.
Was your tech for the argument?
My tech was for saying that, even though I heard the F-bomb the whole game. My tech was for saying that. Like, that's a bad call. That's a bad call. Incidental contact when you're flying out of control, like on it. And I thought her teammates should have come up and talked to her about that as well. Like, I think that's really bad. That happens all the time in the game. Officials have to have some awareness in those moments, and it didn't happen.
Presume you plan to appeal that one?
Yes. It's already appealed.
I just hope the league makes the right decision. Hopefully I can play on Tuesday.
After nights like this, Stephanie White has defended her star point guard before, and you can sense the weariness in the way these circumstances recur. Hard fouls are not uncommon in the WNBA. They occur all the time. Nobody in the audience anticipates that Clark would be whistled every time someone bumps into her in this violent league. The inconsistency is the problem. The problem is that a phantom offensive foul on a routine screen is immediately whistled 2 possessions later, yet a knee-level contact goes entirely uncalled in real time. Fans aren't requesting preferential treatment. They want the same norm to be applied in both ways, which is obviously not the case at this time. White has spoken versions of this after past games too. Always careful with her words. Always frame it as a broad concern about consistency rather than a direct charge. But the pattern keeps providing her more and more chances to bring it up.
Caitlin Clark's agent, Aaron Kane, said Caitlin will never be paid what she's worth by the WNBA because it is quite literally impossible for them to pay her what she's worth. An economist at Indiana University Columbus calculated that Caitlin Clark was responsible for $36 million in economic impact to the city of Indianapolis, and that she is responsible for 27% of the entire WNBA's economic activity for this past season, including attendance, merchandise sales, and television. One player in a big league responsible for 27% of the economic impact and economic activity for the WNBA. You can argue this intelligently. No one person means as much to their league, whatever league it is, as Caitlin Clark means to the WNBA. And no person has done more for their league than what Caitlin.
There's a greater financial and competitive picture here that the league seems to keep ignoring. Throughout the entire season, Clark has been the single most important factor in the explosion of both television ratings and attendance. Every arena where she performs sells out or nearly does. Her games should be on every network schedule. Additionally, there is a real risk to the health of the athlete who is garnering all of that attention each time she falls clutching a knee without a whistle or is grabbed by both arms without an immediate call. The refereeing in these particular games needs to stop lagging several steps behind what everyone watching at home can already easily see on the first replay if the league truly cares about safeguarding its most valuable commodity. The league should be able to admit that a play like the knee impact occurred without the need for a widely shared video and a barrage of irate remarks.
I don't know who didn't get a foul call. Stephanie White lost her shit today. She literally was jumping up and down, and I was like, man, that's the first time I've seen Stephanie White show her ass like that all year. But she lost her ever-loving mind.
Take a moment to zoom out and examine this one game's entire plot. A knee-level collision that any casual fan may recognize as harmful in a matter of seconds after seeing the replay was missed. After Clark's composure had already been damaged, the whistle required a few more seconds to catch up to a restrained arm hold. And only a quarter later, the same opponent committed a technical foul, effectively proving that the rage that erupted on the floor was real. It was earned because of how intense and quick each and every one of Clark's fights has gotten, night after night, city after city, arena after arena, all of which are full to capacity because of her. But regardless of motive, the outcome on the floor is consistently the same. The whistle arrives late or not at all, she is hit harder than nearly everyone else in the league, and the narrative of the evening somehow shifts from the contact that caused it to her response. These same videos will continue to go viral for the same reasons until that changes. The same issue will continue to be posed without a clear response from anyone in the league office, and fans will continue to take screenshots of the same broadcast remarks referring to obvious contact as a loss of balance. How many more of these must occur before someone takes action?